Marhaba. Right now we're going to talk about laysa, which is a very important verb in formal Arabic that we use to negate things in the present tense, or to talk about not being in sentences like I am not a student, I'm a professor, or he is not in the office today. It comes from a very archaic and basically unused word called ais, which means like being or existence, with the prefix la. No, not, un. So together, la plus ais is laysa, the verb conjugated for huwa. You probably know how to use laysa already in certain contexts if you've studied Arabic for a little bit. You may have seen it used to negate ideas of possession in formal Arabic. I could say, for example, I don't have a book. Laysa عندي. Or let's say, I don't have the book. ليس عندي الكتاب. And in a case like that, laysa is fixed. It's sort of referring to the general state of nonness. It is not that I have a book, if that makes any sense. However, laysa is actually a verb that can conjugate for all of the subjects that we have in Arabic. Right here is a chart with every single conjugation you'll ever need. I've included the dual conjugations for the sake of completeness and the human feminine plural conjugation. We don't tend to hear those as much in speech, but I've included them here just for the sake of completeness. If you don't know exactly how to deploy them, don't worry about that. You'll get to that later. Laysa is unique and a bit strange in that while it only ever refers to the present tense, things not being in the present tense, it conjugates as though it's a past tense verb. You can see that with these suffixes. For example, all past tense verbs, if I'm talking about ana, I, a first person singular conjugation, in the past tense they have the ta with the dhamma on it, right? Darastu, I studied. In the past tense. But if I want to say I am not, I would use the same suffix to say lastu. The other complication about laysa is that it's a hollow verb. If you want to go back and review the video about hollow verbs, that might be helpful. Here, the hollow part, the vowel in the middle that sometimes disappears, is the letter ya. You could go about memorizing this chart, crunching through it, or you could remember that in all cases but one, the ya disappears when the conjugation is for a subject that is not third person. Hum laysu, we keep the ya. Huma laysa, we keep the ya. Hiya, she is not. Laysat, we keep the ya. The only exception would be for hunna, they, feminine plural, those women. Lasna. We have to remove the ya because there's a rule in formal Arabic that we can't have two letters next to each other that both have sukun as a letter on them. So we need to remove the ya in that case. But generally, most of the time you can get by remembering that when we're using most third-person conjugations, except for hunna, we keep the ya, and all the other conjugations, first person and second person, we get rid of the ya. So we use laysa most often to negate a jumla ismiya, a nominative sentence, one that doesn't have a verb in it, at least not in Arabic. So we've seen a sentence, this is not my book. If I wanted to say, I am not from this city, conjugated for myself, it would be ana lastu min هذه المدينة. Or if I wanted to say, Maryam is not my sister, she's my friend, I could say, مريم ليست أختي، هي صديقتي. In very formal Arabic, we would actually take laysa, since it works just like other verbs, and put laysa at the front of that sentence. It would be considered elegant style. Laysat Maryam أختي. Maryam is not my sister. Laysa is very frequent in formal written Arabic. We see it all over the place in writing, in formal speech, but it's not very frequent in colloquial speech. Often we would use a simple fixed particle that doesn't conjugate the way laysa does. If we wanted to rephrase these sentences in Levantine or Egyptian Arabic, we could probably get away with using a particle like mish, which stays mish. We aren't going to change mish or attempt to conjugate it for a subject. So I could say أنا مش من هذه المدينة, or مريم مش أختي. Maryam isn't my sister. Mish is the same whether I'm talking about أنا or هي or hum or any other subject. But in formal Arabic, we can't use mish. It's just not used in written expression. So it's up to us to know how to recognize and manipulate laysa when we are going to talk about not being in formal contexts.